You have written that the basic single cause of instability in the Middle East is the Palestinian problem. You've said they're cornered, beleaguered, and in search of a homeland. Do you get the impression that the Americans see that problem in precisely that context?
I think the Americans know the problem very well, and they see it very well. The Palestinian problem is the core of the whole problem.
Mr. President, what will be the central theme of the message you take to Washington about current peace efforts in the Middle East?
Really, it is not a real message. You know, this visit was decided after I had an invitation from Canada, a state visit to Canada. And as far as I'm going to visit Canada, so I have to pass by the United States. And I had an invitation from the President of the United States, my way to Canada, to pass by him, just to exchange views about the peace process and see what could we do just to accelerate this process. Otherwise, it's going to be freezed. The time is running out, so we have to discuss with him and the initiative, Reagan's initiative, which has been declared a couple of months ago, and how to benefit from this initiative. This is nearly the main thing which we are going to discuss with him, plus some other questions concerning economic aid and the flexibility in this field.
Mr. President, what is your scenario about how the peace process could be pushed forward? You said it's in danger of running out of time.
The time really is running out. You may ask me why. I could tell you that Israel is still building settlements in the Western Bank. Plus, within 1 year, the campaign of the elections of the President of the United States will start. And you know what does it mean to the administration? It can't take definite decisions in some major issues. That's why the peace process should be pushed in this time, and we should benefit from this period of time so as to push it forward. There's Reagan's initiative. I'm urging King Hussein and the Palestinians to agree on the formula, how they are going to participate in the negotiations. Whenever this is agreed upon, I think this will be a big progress so as Reagan initiative could start. Reagan initiative, as you know, it's a development to the Camp David Accord.
You've talked about cooperation between King Hussein and Yasser Arafat as a precondition to pushing forward this Reagan initiative. Isn't the problem, though, that the Israelis keep building settlements on the West Bank? Isn't that a real obstacle to any progress at all?
It is an obstacle. But if we are going to give her much more time, 1 or 2 years more, the settlements will occupy the whole Western Bank and Gaza. So to hurry up the negotiations according to the Reagan's plan, Reagan's initiative, I think we should make use of this specific period of time so as to come to a conclusion before building the whole Western Bank and Gaza by Israeli settlements.
Remember reading last August where you said that the question of the settlements must be halted. You wrote an article to that effect. Do you feel that the Americans have that sense of urgency about that particular problem?
They declared several times that building settlement is not with the peace process, is against, is hindering the peace process. And they said they are urging the Israelis not to build more settlements. But I can't see that the Israelis have responded to all these calls by the United States or by European countries also as well.
Mr. President, if they don't respond to this kind of pressure from the United States, who will they respond to? What will they respond?
The only way is to hurry up for responding to the Reagan's initiative to sit on the negotiating table so as to find a comprehensive settlement for the whole problem. The earlier we solve this problem, the better it will be for building any more settlements for the Arab side.
And you have written that the basic single cause of instability in the Middle East is the Palestinian problem. You've said they're cornered, beleaguered, and in search of a homeland. Do you get the impression that the Americans see that problem in precisely that context?
I think the Americans know the problem very well, and they see it very well. And the point is that how we could push or encourage the Americans to go ahead in the peace process for solving the problem. This mainly depends on the Arabs themselves.
Talking about the Arabs themselves, how far have you got with your idea that the PLO should recognize Israel, although the Israelis may not be ready to repay the compliment at this time?
Really, I started by declaring that mutual recognition is the ideal way. And when I said that if the Israelis are not to recognize the Palestinians, and if the Palestinians declare their recognition, I think this is a good element so as we could tell the Americans to start a dialogue with the Palestinians, because this is only their excuse for not starting a dialogue with the Palestinians. Although the Palestinians don't like to recognize Israel without the mutual recognition.
If that happens, do you think you'd like to see the Americans recognize the PLO as well at the same time?
If there is mutual recognition between Israel and the PLO, at least the Americans had no excuse to start a dialogue with the Palestinians.
You've also talked about meeting the PLO leader Yasser Arafat. Is there any progress at all towards that meeting, sir?
He asked, and he said several times during his tours in Europe and some Arab countries, he wanted to visit Egypt. I declared several times he is welcomed at any time in Egypt so as to discuss the future of the peace process. I didn't receive any answer after that.
Mr. President, is Camp David a dead letter now?
You can't say a dead letter. Camp David is composed from two documents. First document is the Egyptian-Israeli document. The second document is the comprehensive settlement of the whole problem. According to the first document of the Camp David, we concluded the peace treaty, and we took back our land, and we have finished all what concerns the first document. The second document is the comprehensive settlement of the whole problem. It's still existing. And it's the only document which Israel is committed to. No other document since the problem of the Palestinian starts in 1949. There is no other document which Israel is committed to except this Camp David Accord.
But isn't it a rather unhealthy situation that despite Camp David, despite those two documents about which you speak, relations between Israel and Egypt are not terribly good at the moment?
I can't say that our relations are so bad, but put yourself in my position. Egypt is the biggest Arab country in this area. Israel has still bad relations with other Arab countries. Then it started the invasion of Lebanon. Lebanon is an Arab country. Lebanon is a member of the Arab League. Could we sit folded hands after such an invasion? We can't do it. We urged the Israelis to withdraw from Lebanon as quickly as possible. When this crisis, massacre near Beirut, took place, we asked our ambassador to come back here for conciliation. And this was the minimum which we could do in such a position. I was asked to freeze the whole relation or to cut the whole diplomatic relation with the Israelis. But I refused, because if such an act is going to help the peace process, I would have done it. But it will never help the peace process at all.
But given what has happened in Lebanon, and given, as you say, what happened in Sabra and Shatia, how long do you think it will take for your country to have normal relations again with Israel, so that that kind of comprehensive settlement about which you spoke can be worked towards?
I think whenever they reach a conclusion for the withdrawal from Lebanon, it will be a very good sign, so as I'll think after that of sending back our ambassador, so as to start the comprehensive settlement negotiation for the comprehensive settlement of the whole problem. Because you know that the Palestinian problem is the core of the whole problem. The withdrawal from Lebanon is a step, but still the main problem is the Palestinian problem.